All right, good afternoon. We're back and we're live. Let's hit that one. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. We are on episode 58. I know. So after 55 and 56's trip to bankruptcy land, yeah, that's a fun place to go. We got back on an even kilter, and then we started working on the Gary steel mills, and we've looks like we got things in a little bit of a better state of control. Um, yeah, I'm waiting for one setting to get adjusted here. It doesn't appear to be taking hold. Let's try it again. I know the joys of switching and streaming and technology and all those fun things. Here we go. Is that working? Let's see. Let's try it one more time. Hello, everybody. Hey, look at that. It actually went through this time. Well, it's out there somewhere. We'll have to figure it out. Anyhow, we're yeah, where are we? So our problem is this station. Where is it? Put the lakes on the east. Here we go. This beast of a station here. We talked about using this to bring in the iron and the coal. And after doing some, well, putzing, exploring, setting up these, this is a little hinky, but it works. So we're just going to bring it in off of the pier. Yeah, off the pier. We're going to bring it all the way down on the lake. So we're going to bring it down off the pier. We'll bring the coal in by train, and then we'll haul the steel out from here. And that's how we'll get stuff flowing. Interesting. Well, the hell map is that? Yeah, I don't know. Definitely the monitor that I have on the stream is just looks weird. And it's, let's see. Now let's see if we got the right one. There we go. Wow, that took a long time to sync up. But it looks like we're here. And hey, look at, oh, there you go. We're working. All right, so we're here. Everything's working. And now we're just going to be bringing coal in. We're going to let the iron come in on the barge, which means we've got 2 episodes to do this week. One is actually setting up the barges. And then before that, we are going to do the dredging. I thought about doing it offline, but I think it's going to be more entertaining to do it as an online episode. So we're just going to make a straight run through here. It's going to require some changes to the USGS data numbers that we had. Because if it's too sharp on this side, it'll just look weird. Unless we want it to look like a model diorama where stuff happens behind one of those fake styrofoam mountains. In which case we just do the same thing here, but then we'd be better off just closing this off so that it's here behind the map. But, if we're going to make it visible, it should be visible. If it's going to, having it as a peekaboo over here I don't think would look good. But we'll try it out first and see how it works. And then we'll finish along here. We'll hit very close to Wausau and, of course, Chippewa Falls. This is going to have to move. There's no way that's close enough. But we'll move that on a chip during the dredging, and that gets us to here, where we'll make the turn and then build the harbor area all back here, which probably will necessitate a name change again for the spun map. So we'll fix that up, move this over somewhere. Yeah, that sinkhole is in these mountains is just, you can hear the birds, but she's a little ugly looking. And then we'll run down. So that's the plan, but that'll be the next 2 episodes. We'll have a dredging episode, and then we'll get the boats going. But in the meantime, we started working on this, and this just turned out to be an emotionally draining event. So the first problem is this. Where is this line supposed to meet traffic over here? Are we running at this plateau level here, or are we coming down to the flat? Because if we run at the flat, we can see it. If we run at the plateau, we're going to have a tunnel coming through here that intercepts up here. And I'm thinking it's probably going to have to be the tunnel, because the winding down and winding back up is going to be a little too much. Now we are going to have to come down for the run to go back to Milwaukee. That's different. But the main line, and again, these are still going to be large trains. So my thought is, let's just set this up today as a run right through here at this level. That gets us pretty good height through town. Yes, and it is through town. Gets us over to here, which lets us go under the bridge. And I think for this segment of track, because this is, this is inner city Chicago. It's the outskirts of the city. I think we're going to be, and again, given the length of the trains, it's going to be very hard to do sidings. I think we're going to have quite a bit of double track here. I think that the piece from here out to there and coming back out is going to be modified in the future. As we get over here, grab on, catch a ride with this guy coming up here. So I think he's going to have 2 tracks riding alongside of him to get them down here. Yep, a little bit of bridge problems. Well, let's fix that while we're here. Oh, we can put in the new tracks. Yeah, we have those new girder tracks for the bridges. So let's... All right, well, we're going to have to destroy the bridge anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, now take that out. Now let's get the new girder bridges. Tracks for girder bridges. Let's attach it. There you go. All right. What color was this bridge? I don't know, I forgot. Glad I was paying attention. Well, we're not in Bloomington. We're not using any of this. Well, we're using it down there. All right, well, we'll stick with it then. That's not a girder bridge. Damn it. Yep. Why'd you hit by? Because I wasn't paying attention. Let's try it again. Nope. Oh, there you go. All right. There we go. That's a lot better. Now these guys are going to come up around here. I think we should clean this curve up a little bit. And then bring the other 2. And then from here, they'll branch off. Do you want to run through the farm? Not necessarily a bad idea. Let's get rid of this road. And what about this stub? Well, that stub goes to there. Huh. Yeah, I know. Okay, well, what if we bring the track through here? We make the curve. Yeah, that's going to be too big of a curve. We're coming behind the farm. I mean, it'd be a cool thing to do. Have it cut straight across to here. Turn in. and then it would make an S turn going out. Huh. Let's see. Can we do anything else with it right here? You'd have to increase the elevation sooner. How hard would that be to do? Well, yeah, that's not going to work. Your problem is you're down here at ground level, and you have to come out to get off of this guy, then make your turn. Okay. Back to regular track. And let's do, what's the earliest we could put them in? Like right there. That seems pretty early. Does it mess up any of the foundations? No. I mean, again, for transport fever, they're good. You know, they're not fine detailing great, but they're good. All right, so there's our stuff coming in. It's heading back here around the farm, and then back here somewhere. Okay. We'll come back to that later. Didn't this all start because this all started because of this tunnel right here? Yeah, this is in a weird place. Oh, wow. Thank you for joining, and thank you for the follow. Thank you. Oh, wow, it's a raid for the party of 3. Jif Pop, thank you so much for coming over. I appreciate it. Thank you. How has your day been going? How did your stream go? I'm sitting here with Flying Crowbar, my silent companion. And
most times.
He's most times. He's usually my chatty companion. Refrain from spamming caps. Well, we got to fix that alert. That shouldn't have been in there. Jif Pop, good afternoon, and thank you for coming over. I appreciate it. We are, what did you wind up doing at the end of your stream? See, it's who's running the show here, the bots or the humans? I hope you had a great day. I hope you had a great stream. I appreciate it. We are working on the Mississippi River map, doing some really hard and inane level of detailing. Matter of fact, sometimes it's so detailed that I took the time to put this together. just to warn people who pop over that this might be a little dull. Oh wow. American Truck Simulator or European Truck Simulator? Or just trucking around the map in terms of games? American Truck Simulator. So, Crowbar, did we convince you to buy American Truck Simulator?
No.
No. We have a couple people that have. I have been unable to get these people into the cab at the same time to do a convoy. Did you do a solo run or a convoy? Because I've seen people do some convoys and they look like a lot of fun. It's herding cats to get people on at the same time. And of course, you know, there's so much area in ATS to cover, you know, between the different parts of the country. You know, somebody's riding around with a camera taking pictures. You might as well be driving in the car. Oh wow. Yeah, it is there is a lot to that game. I mean, you know, every piece of equipment that you're carrying, you know, all the stuff that you're taking with you, the logistics of it. You know, and then as you start using, you know, if you know, when you switch from a keyboard to mouse, then to a wheel and the whole rig, there is definitely a lot to do in that game. Well, our trucking around here is far less interesting right now. The trucking won't get interesting on this map for another couple of weeks until we advance the clock into the World War II era. We're still predominantly relying on trains and the ferry boats, which the ferry boats can be quite exciting. We have a daily game called Did Anyone Ride the Ferry Yet? Because the most important ferries on this map have like decades gone without a single passenger ever getting on them. it has been it's been pretty uneventful, sadly. And you know, that's sort of the fun of, all the stuff that goes on in this game. You want to sit here and just have a relaxing afternoon or evening playing this, and then you get sucked into it. Crowbar, when are we going to be able to get you on a truck simulator convoy?
Probably never.
Never. That's too unoptimistic. Crowbar is playing Dead Polly.
Actually, I'm playing Astroneer right now.
Oh, Astroneer. That's right. There's a new Astroneer patch that came out.
Yeah.
Or is that just the Halloween event patch?
I don't think it's the Halloween event patch, but it might be. I don't know.
Well, that's
There is pumpkins. There's a lot of pumpkins involved in this one.
Yeah, and I guess if you bring stuff out in this time of year, there's a presumption that your work was really just Halloweenish. The Rust server, which went live this past week, I have when the sun sets, the zombies come out, and I have it set over the next few weeks that the intensity after dark gets more and more. So that for the people that are playing PvE and PvP, they've got several hours of zombie time that they could be enjoying the fun with. By the same token, though, I have hay bales, scarecrows, and corn stalks to put around various like junctions on the map. The problem is I haven't figured out how to put like an active enemy so that when you come walking up to the area, you get lulled in thinking, oh, pumpkin spice lattes or something. Let's go check it out. And instead, it's a very bad neighborhood. But yeah, there is nothing pumpkin in Transport Fever. City Skylines, you can farm up your place, but it's interesting how some of these games embrace the holidays and some don't. I don't think I've ever even seen a train with like a Christmas tree train or anything in Transport Fever. Even Workers and Resources Soviet Republic has Christmas lights. You can and actually they made it so you could put them up any time of the year. But I mean, there is no doubt they're Christmas holiday lights. Although I think you can change the colors. But keeping in line with the the festiveness of that game. But back to our if we could do even just a minute's worth of work on the map here. Let's see. Here's our track and our oh so rare double track that we never want to use. Unfortunately, the trains that we're hauling through here are sort of mandating it. Let's see, what does this look like? A 91. If we bring this back just a hair, we should get a better curve out of this. Where's the track? Oh, there it is. All right. 120s. See what the 110. Yeah, we can take that. All right. So let's buy. Yeah, that's the thing with track. It's cheap. If you're not careful with your planning, it's so cheap that you slap it down everywhere, and it's a great opportunity to set the vibe for the community. I mean, like even just this little change yesterday took this. Who's coming through here? Took this little piece of track here and now turned it into, a very different, and this was just a few dollars with the take all my money dredging tool, where if you're not careful, it will rob you blind. But that's sort of the fun of these games. So we are playing on hard mode plus. We're not playing on very hard because although I have a video of how to make profit with very hard, you're just making pennies. The money is so low that you wind up spending a huge chunk of time just sitting around broke, waiting for anything to come in. Chicago. Let's check out Chicago while we're talking. All right, so this guy is pulling out of Chicago, and true to form, Chicago's Grand Central Station. Trains pull in, and they've got to do some switching to get themselves out of here. And the way that we're covering that in Transport Fever, of course, is the no flip mod, which is a wonderful tool because trains don't flip in the air. And although this isn't really a train game, we put so much time and effort into the trains, we want them to look good. But there you go, there's one leaving. So she pulls in, she hits the station, and she's able to back up and pull out. Now she's going back up to Cincinnati. So she's got quite a ways to go. Her next stop is all the way up in Fort Wayne, and then on down the line to Cincinnati. But what's happening is we're picking up in Grand Central Station, coming across town, and some people are actually using this as a crosstown subway. And then we pick up passengers over here. Like, here you go. We've got 192 people waiting to go to Milwaukee on the Chicago-Milwaukee-St. Paul line. But if you go up to Milwaukee, there's probably no one waiting to go out to St. Paul. I've thought about many times, I think about killing the pickups at this stop, because really its only purpose is, just to do the switching. But once we get into the 40s and 50s with the multi-car trains, where they have a cockpit on both ends, this will become a stop within its own right of people that want to go in and out of the Ogilvie Transportation Center instead of going down to. Oh yeah, no, this is episode 58. This is a custom map. Matter of fact, we started episode 1 over here at where is it? Murfreesboro. Here we go. Here's the quarry. So this quarry is our very first starting point. And just to, kick us up on a little bit of speed. So, Cousin Ellie is on this line with 2 other trains, Uncle Jed and Aunt Betty, and they're hauling 500 units of stone out of this quarry. And they've been doing it since 1850. And, once we started getting some profit out of this line, the entire operation up here in Huntsville just grew, to what we have right now, which is, a major traffic corridor. Plus, and this is where it gets fun for me, this is all single track. You go around the places on this map and you'll see that for whatever reason, there's a siding junction and the trains just turn back into single track. Obviously, we have to double track in the stations. We've got to have some switches going on like here. But, these trains, if you follow them out, even just a little bit of distance from the cities, this is all just Huntsville traffic. But you come down here to, the Huntsville cement factory. This guy right here is going up to Nashville. If we hop on board, you can see, there's some line work getting into the station. But very quickly, she's going to turn into a single track, which is not easy when you consider that, how much. Here she is. She's waiting for single track clearance. And it really just kills the profitability. And that's one of the main reasons that I'm a fan of single track challenge, because, this is the most money that we've had on this map in a long time. And it's all going to be gone once we start working on the tunnel today. On a regular map, most people would have billions of dollars in the bank by now. We went bankrupt twice this past week. I mean, negative $60 million in the bank bankrupt. having to go find trains somewhere that were broke, in the hopes that, you know, you send the crew out with an axe, a couple of axes and some crowbars and tell them to, take that wagon, those last couple of wagons off the train and flip them over to the side. So that, like, here you go, single track, even just for this little stretch. And the line on the right is a passenger line. Passenger lines and freight lines never touch. They are separate everywhere on the map. And it just, the challenges that it presents. That guy finally got clearance. She was able to move forward. And, the more you push, there's a YouTuber who mentioned it the other day, Colonel Failure, talked about the people that play on hard mode. And one of his comments was, I have to optimize things. And it's like, yeah, because this is a transport game. You want it to look good. You play it a couple times and you win and you get your victory, and then you do all goods everywhere. If you've come from Transport Fever 1 to 2. And now that we have all goods built in, we don't need a mod for that. But you get to this point and you achieve, like my last two playthroughs, 60,000 and 70,000 population. And you hit a point where it's like, the game starts to just buckle under the pressure of what you're building. And what is he waiting for? I mean, we know he's waiting for clearance, but why? Oh, here we go. Who's coming back? This is a log train. So like this log train goes all the way up to, this is actually the brick train that goes to Nashville. And she's going to drop off those bricks. And then she's going to swing around to one of the forests, pick up logs, take them all the way back into Huntsville. And you can see just the time delay that this causes. Where with double track, which is dirt cheap. I mean, track is cheap. But we're still waiting just to get clearance to get out of here. Over here at the Murfreesboro Switchyard. But the map is a custom map, and there is the intention is. Are we seriously waiting for a second train? We are waiting for. Are we? We are. We're waiting for her to come in, because that is a whole other piece of single track all the way up there. Yep. There is a lot of signal switching that we have to wait for here. And that means that, the trains are delayed. They got to wait their turn. Okay. We've sat all that time with a full, I mean, we're not fully loaded, but because we've got, how many trains do we have on this line right now? 4? Yeah, we got 4 trains on this line. And again, keep in mind, these trains have been this busy since the 1850s, 1870s. It's been, nonstop wanting these things as fully loaded as possible. Keeping the platforms busy. I mean, the water towers and the sand towers, just a little bit of decorating. Here you go. We're kicking those bricks off. And now we're taking the second part of the load the rest of the way up. Whenever she starts moving. Come on. Come on. Who's she waiting for now? And because the trains can't flip, we've got switches. Or a slip back for everything to go back. But this is... Yeah, this is this is just one city, one marketplace. And as, we started the map down here, we moved around counterclockwise and started setting up Nashville. I mean, from Nashville and Memphis, we went up here to Chicago. We skipped over Columbus this past trip. But we got, all this work going up here in Chicago. All the major cities on the map use trams instead of buses. So if I don't set down rules like this, I find ways to just easily ignore it. And, you force yourself to use the trams. They have their own, little hurdles to get them working properly, making them look good and fit within the blocks. And you can't change their routes as easy. You got to modify your streets. Like this station should be at least 3-4 times busier than it is right now. But right now, just Chicago alone. Crowbar, can you do some quick math for me?
What do you need?
I need you to add up 5 numbers. Just so we can... Let me know when you're ready. All right, let's see. South Shore has 473.
Okay.
Over on the west side, we have 386 and growing. Down in the Loop, we have 572. In the CBD, we have 388. So how many people are currently in Chicago?
1,819.
That's just one city. So, I mean, that's, when we reach the modern era, this city should be somewhere between the 5 to 10,000 population range. And that's just one of the 5 major cities on the map. And you pull out of Chicago, again, here's, trains going in reverse so they can switch to going forward. It would have been very easy to have just made this, a sideways access station, but that's not what's in Chicago. You've got to have the switch yard. And then you go up the line a little bit and, Lake Geneva, as everyone knows, the home of TSR Hobbies and the birthplace of Dungeons and Dragons. Rockford, some town in Chicago famous for I don't know what. And then Johnsonville, famous for Johnsonville Foods, which actually moved after a fire to a different town over. But that's a famous piece of Wisconsin history. But of course, Johnsonville brats. So I have, starting now in the 1900s going forward, I have mods from the workshop and mods that a couple of friends, one did for free and another one has taken on commission for their work, has done a couple of custom trucks and boxcars. So that as we move forward from here into the modern era, the food delivery, as an example, that comes out of here actually will say Johnsonville Farms and Johnsonville brought images on the trucks and the boxcars, just to add to the immersion, the fun of it. But you pull up here to Milwaukee. Milwaukee Station is laid out this way. Granted, its position is different compared to the city, but the city will grow out over here over time. And then, and we've got the old Milwaukee Brewery. It's what Milwaukee's famous for. And of course, the tool plant, Milwaukee Tools. It's actually Milwaukee Electric Tools Co. But all the train lines that pull out of here are, they're labeled under the Milwaukee Tools Rock Island Line Road. That is, goodness. I make a lot of those. A lot. But yeah, that is, and actually the discussion that we had last night was about, I got to do some dredging through here because the Great Lakes, when I was thinking about it up here, was off the map. And what we've decided is that we're going to take the Duluth Harbor to use it to pull all the iron out of the Minnesota mountains. And then we'll send it down across the Great Lakes, past Green Bay, and then down into Gary, Indiana. These are the only steel mills on the map along this line here. Because that's where they are, trying to cover stuff. And that's just this area, this one side. The whole thing repeats itself when you come across, Chippewa Falls, famous for Leinenkugels and their wonderfully tasty summer shandy. So, here's she's bringing in bricks. We have no food waiting out here. Lon and Google's Brewery. She's got... Who's picking up out here? Chippewa Falls. That's brickwork. Brewery crops in. Are we not delivering out here yet? Oh, we're taking it by truck. So yeah, all the food coming out of here is getting hauled by truck, and a very rare site so far on the map, an old tunnel. You know, trying to keep things as visible and, you know, interesting as possible. And then that brings us down to Minneapolis and St. Paul. At this point, this is where the bridge crossings come into play. We do not have any crossings from here at the head point of the Mississippi River all the way down to New Orleans, unless it actually existed or exists, and it was opened at that point in time. So as an example, here is the Father Louis Hennepin Bridge between Minneapolis and St. Paul crossing the river. That's it. That's all it is. It has been slammed with traffic since the day it opened in the 70s. And, you know, we're sticking with it. It's causing growth problems. It's causing, you know, how often do you see, you know, horse to horse's tail, bumper to bumper traffic? But we got it. And it's great to see it. You know, it makes the whole map look interesting. And then, of course, the big station here, which really needs to be doubled in size. Not doubled in size, but doubled in traffic. You know, like she's pulling in right here. Where's she going? You know, just a little bit of profit. So her next stop is Madison. Let's see where she goes. Has she been updated yet? Is that a 260? Yeah, that's a 260. So we actually have way more updated, more powerful engines, but we're only updating areas of the map when we get to them. So this thing could sit here not upgraded for the next 2 weeks, which reduces the profitability of the entire map. But, you know, we're not going into the, oh, look, the new shiny train came out. Let's go into the all vehicles and, you know, do a wham upgrade across the entire map. You know, that's, we're only upgrading after we, you know, we physically are working that area of the map just to make sure she's covered. You know, right now we're only doing 54. We could easily be doing 75 or 80 kilometers an hour out here. I mean, even with that little bit of a hill we just went up. And the train cost between the 260 and the 10-wheeler isn't that much. You know, it would be an easy thing to justify spending the money on to do the upgrade. But, you know, that's part of the fun of, like right now, money's still pouring in. It is very easy on this map to lose money because, you know, I try and make these trains as absolutely long as possible, you know, as long as they're, you know, in profit. And you wind up with, you know, things like this. The freight service is just not hooked up from here heading out, you know, over to Minneapolis, St. Paul. All the freight line from here still, you know, tunnels in, comes back around, and then we've got this area of, you know, this gets congested. And all of these, most of these trains here, I think they're 203s. Yeah, they've been 203s for quite some time. Let's see if we can find one. Here we go. She's just now pulling out. Yeah, she's a 203. And let's see what she's got. GVs. We haven't even upgraded them from GVs yet because we haven't gotten around the map to get back here. I mean, I would make this a 10-wheeler in 2 seconds right now. You know, the problem is I make this a 10-wheeler. Is she going through the junction that she's going to go through in a few seconds? Plus all the gondolas got to be upgraded. You know, this is a $25-30 million upgrade. But once we get up here, you know, you can see the express lines there for the brick trains going to Madison, but that's only 2 goods. You know, we haven't even started making steel yet. That's what we're, you know, talking about right now, is getting you know, the steel down to Gary, Indiana, and then getting the coal down from the Midwest. I mean, the coal has a shorter distance to go, which is really going to hurt us on profitability, but the landscape isn't going to make it any easier. All right, so I mean, here we go. We're back down to, you know, we're off the siding, the station siding. You know, there's her sister train heading back, deadheading. And we are not picking up. Yeah, this thing would love to get the upgrade. Genius, pure genius when I put this here. You know. But, you know, this is an example of a lot of double track, but, you know, these things are not baby trains. These are actually just sidings. It's just the trains are so big. And then from here, she's heading into the brick station. Over there to Wausau. Wausau. W-A-U-S-A-U. Wausau. You know, there's the Wausau Brickworks. Level 4. Yeah, but look at that. See, she's just about to run out. Are we going to make it in time? And no, we're not. So, you know, in terms of 100% utilization of the factory, we're missing our mark. You know, it's so, I mean, what can we do? It's going to be the A35. I mean, do we need that extra tractive? I mean, we don't need the extra tractive power, but compared to the 10-wheeler, it's going to be a better upgrade. You know, well, I mean, we're here. Here's something that I constantly forget to do, and I don't know why, but there you go. We got 349 at 7 minutes. Okay. So, wrong window. Try it again. Manage vehicle. 349 at 7 minutes. And these are all in 203s. So, oh, I don't know if you noticed, but every freight train has a caboose. Because first off, they need it. Number 2, I have a caboose with a custom logo on it, just because I'm shy. I'm a shy person. But also, every time you set up a train, it adds to the initial cost of that particular train set. And then the entire time that it's running, it adds to the weight, the length, and its ongoing operating cost. And all of that could be enough to just ruin the entire game. Because if your train is just, all it has to do is be one caboose too long, and, you know, points aren't clear, trains don't move, and, you know, you were bringing in revenue of, you know, 100 mil that year, and now it turns into 60 mil. But, all right, 344, 7 minutes. You know, I should really write that down. I mean, because it's not like I'm going to remember it. 344, 7 minutes. All right, let's do an upgrade since we're up here. I mean, we're here. All right, manage vehicles. I don't want to lose the cabooses. I mean, they've been here forever. We don't want to lose them. Okay. 550 and 1,000. You know what? We'll take the 10-wheeler just to start. And come on. I love that they're this long. That is just, and that's a train that's been running since the 1870s, you know. That is a lot of wagons. All right, let's get the new ones. Cargo. Gondolas. All right, we are Milwaukee Road. 12s, 8s, and 12s. 15 tons, 20 tons. We'll take the smaller ones. All right, so we're trying to get to 203. Really? Why is that? That is a, what, just the level of attention and detail that you put into it? All right, 203. All right, we're at 204. Well, I'll tell you what, I'll upgrade them next time we come back. Because right now I'd want to take these to 250s. But I'm worried that if I even touch them in any way, it's just gonna. Let's get those two cabooses up there. I haven't done any of the thought process to make sure that I'm not going to be jamming up points or anything up here. And all right, let's get the steam engine on. She's supposed to be in orange. 10-wheeler. Let's replace that one. Okay, now let's get the cars in black. Yeah, in another few years, there is some amazing artwork on the workshop that people have put on for the liveries for all of these train lines that I've got on the map. Milwaukee Road, the Rock Island line, the UMP that comes out, the L&N, the Gulf Coast, and then what eventually becomes the UP during our the years that we'll be running here. But there's some. All right, 203. Well, 203. What are we missing here? Oh, we went with the 50s. Sorry, that was my mistake. I was pulling I didn't pull the upgrades yet. All right. Come on, gondola. 12s, give us the 15s. Nope, they're bigger. That's why we're taking the heavier weight, because we've got a lot of junctions up here. Well, it's that's part of the. I think that's one of the beautiful things or the fun about this game is that, it's you can play it for just a few minutes, or do a quick scenario or have a little bit of fun. Okay, our number is 244.7. See, there you go, 22 million. Boop. All right, let's see what we get going back around now. Whenever she registers that we got a new one. But our problem here is literally going to be the points. We're obviously, we're single track pulling into the ladder and then coming around.
Hello.
Hey, it's Jeff.
Hello.
It's Jeff. Damn it.
Jeff, we're currently playing and streaming Transport Fever 2 today.
Oh.
And then we're going to be going back to Rust later today.
You're not.
How have you been doing?
All right. I was on Satisfactory and.
Now, Satisfactory, you were playing update 6?
Yes.
And that gives you. What does it give? It gives you what?
A lot.
Does it give you new tiers on the space elevator?
No, it doesn't do that. It improved the game dramatically.
68?
The world changed. The map changed. I mean, the graphics and stuff. There's new areas and stuff that just mind-boggling the beauty of it. waterfalls, and I mean, it's added a bunch. But then the hunting's different too. The animals
We're gonna hit it.
got harder.
Nope, we didn't get it. Where did you get a waterfall added? Like over by the red desert on the rocks?
It's like there'll be like an archway or a giant arch, and then right in the middle, the water's coming out, or just a little, like an arm or something sticking way out with water coming out the bottom end of that thing, and then there's a bunch of those things. But anyway, I mean, I'm in a game and I set the hub right on this ledge, way up in the air, that I could get over to, and then it had a great view of all the waterfalls in this one area. And then I went on down to the down below to get the ores and stuff. But
excuse me a second, Jeff. Jeff, I don't know if you noticed there, but you see how we got parked waiting for the Madison brick train. There are no freight bridges anywhere on the map. There are some, well, I'm calling them freight aqueducts, because that's just a way for me to be cheaty and lazy. But there is no obvious freight bridges anywhere. If I can find even just the slightest gradient in the ground to let me put an overpass over, I'll drop down to 2 or 3 and build something that if we have to. But I mean, unless we absolutely have to, there is never a point where, you know, we just do and because it's I mean, it's easy to do, there's nothing wrong with it, but you know, I prefer that the trains they got to hit that single junction and they got to wait their turn, and it just adds to the challenge of the route. Now the passenger trains, they can bridge over anything they want. Sorry, Jeff. So you've got waterfalls, and what else was added?
The hunting, and then also the
You mean the hunting of the animals?
yes.
Did the animals get harder?
Yes.
So do you
And
have?
then they're throwing different things now, and then but also the weapons got pumped up a lot.
Okay, did they change the thing that if you just put down a single power pole, the animals won't come back? Or do they? Or once you start building civil? Yeah, see, that's the thing that's because, you know, Satisfactory's predecessor is Factorio. And in Factorio, the more you build, the more pollution you make. And the more pollution you make, the more the native creatures get irked at you and come to attack you. So I always thought it was interesting that, you know, Satisfactory is a friend of, based on, whatever we want to call it. Look at that, 4:05 and 6 minutes. So we've gone up 25% in our rate, and we've gone down 16% in our frequency. So that's been a huge difference. That could pay for itself in just a couple of runs. The problem is we can only get so many units out of that quarry. You know. Sorry, Jeff. It's like, as I said when you came in, I was streaming at the same time. I hate to interrupt you. Sorry. So yeah. So my thing was always that if you went at, like, you know, like the cave from the Red Desert down to the starting Green Cove, that's a really dangerous cave until you put in a couple of power poles, and then nothing ever spawns in the uranium cave again. And I always thought that was like, I always thought there should be a setting for that, because I don't want to kill the creatures once and then have them never come back. You know. But I mean, that's different game, different style, I guess, you know.
There's a lot more creatures now, so you go into a cave like that, and you better be ready.
Okay. Will they tear up your tracks or your power lines or anything?
I haven't seen them do that.
Okay.
I have not seen all the 1,600 things they added, and there were 1,600 things they added. I'm like, holy cow! How will I ever get to see it all?
Wait, did you say the map is different?
Yes.
Okay, so do we have a choice now to play on the original map and the new map, or is it just it's the map and the map has changed?
No, that's the map. And also, the way you see the map got changed too. Before you eventually through the MAM, you would unlock the map, and then you could expand it out and stuff. But now, if you unlock it, I think the first or second tier, it's not in the MAM anymore.
Excuse me a second. See, Jif Pop, this is why I'm a firm believer that every time you place a line, you should ride it on the maiden voyage. And when you make a major change like this, you should ride it again. Because my concern is not the first station back here at, quarry stop number 2. My concern is what's going to happen up here at the Wausau quarry number 1. Are we going to hit these 2 quarries now because of the extra speed? Because now we're at 446. So we've gone up 100 units in our rate. Are we going to hit a point? Well, she's still full, though. I would be concerned that we'd be hammering this too much with pickups. And then we'd wind up with, trains not going completely full. But that does not look like it's happening. So we're still good here. I mean, we've increased frequency. We've increased rate. Look at that. Now we drop down even another minute. As these things keep running back and forth through this junction better. How much is left at the station right here? See, we got a ton left here. When I come back up here, when we're actually playing out of Wausau, I will move these probably to 300s. And then if 300's too much, I'll back them off, to 275. And if that's too much, 250. But I mean, I would love to get these 2 quarries, fully, being delivered. But, well, Jeff, we're 1,600 things.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now.
Did they give you a list?
Yeah, it's a long list.
Is it broken down by category, like new vehicles or anything, or is there a new ore to gather?
Oh, here's something for you. You know how the on your person where you wear different things, different weapons or something?
Yeah, like your belt.
Your hand slots, you get up to 4, and there's 1 body slot. Well, that's changed now. Now you get something on your feet and your hand and your head and I mean, there's like 4 different new areas now.
So you don't put your Blade Runners on your utility belt anymore. You actually put them on your feet.
You can wear a hover pack and Blade Runners at the same time if you want.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the hover pack. I mean, the Blade Runners are kind of cool, but I mean, my thing with the hover pack is why aren't you building the train anyway?
Well, I mean, I play with mods now to make the game more interesting and stuff. But the they came out with.
Wait, hold on a second. You said you play with mods. I'm looking for my sound effect that screams cheater.
Cheater. Yeah, right. Well, no, it's not cheater. A lot of people don't play mods because it makes the game too hard. They said.
Not.
Oh my God, you 2 guys are just. It's like the Odd Couple. All right, so I know how the 2 of you have a difference of opinion on the mods.
Okay. Keep going.
Well, and again, I have a very different opinion on mods also. I mean, even on the Rust server, I had this conversation this morning. If the mod makes the game harder, I'm all for it. If the mod makes the game more enjoyable, yeah, cool. But when you say, oh man, thanks for putting this mod on, it makes things so much easier, then I'm like, oh, why did we do that?
No, that's like saying put yourself in God mode and you can't get hurt at all. I mean, what's the fun in that?
Yeah, I can never understand it. Why do people ruin their game? I think they ruin their game when they do it. I don't know why they do it.
So Jeff, what you're saying is creative mode should not be put into any game.
No, creative mode.
Is God mode.
It's like on Astroneer when they came out with creative mode. People said, why even come up with that? It's just you could cheat in the game now, unlimited air and all that stuff. And who would want to play that? Some kid or something, you know. But then I realized I said, well, wait a minute now. You can actually make a game using creative mode, and then back off and turn that thing off, and then play that new game.
On the Astroneer, you can't.
And we did that. You and John and I did all those scenarios that I come up with.
Ouch.
But it wasn't cheating. It was just changing the game. I mean, starting a base at the bottom of Aatrox, right above the core. You know, I mean, stuff like that. Like, how could you do that normally? You couldn't. It would take forever to get down there.
That's right.
Right, but by then the lag is in, and the game's about over anyway, and you can't. But if you start a game like that, then there's no lag.
So I refer you to, while these two guys are arguing, I refer you to track rule number 2 of our playthrough.
I'm not arguing.
Well, that's the beauty of you two guys. It's number 2, single track. Okay, and bridges and tunnels. Number 11, single track only. There are no exceptions going through a tunnel. Okay, and here's where this is going to jam me up here. Because if I take the easy route here and connect this via tunnel, I mean, it's a beautiful tunnel. You know, we've gotten our heights here perfect. It's single track. And that is a long stretch for a long train, which means we're going to need a couple siding steps out here. And I don't know how many people are going to be how many trains are going to be waiting here. You know, I would love to come down here to the valley, but these trains are too big. And, you know, even the A35, she's going to have a heck of a time pulling a 300 up here. And then to do it again on this side. And this spiral, you know, just to get up here to this coal mine, we're already 1, 2, 3 loops down. This isn't enough. It would have to be a 4th loop. You know, I mean, I'm going to do it because I'm feeling a little crazy here, but I mean, that's, oh, Jeff, how much time do you spend with the trains in Satisfactory?
How much time I spend with trains?
Yeah, like, have you done a train all the way around the map yet or anything like that? Like,
no, I've gone pretty far, yes, but as far as trying to get from coast to coast or something, no. I mean, I go to where I need it to be. I mean, I've had several trains running at the same time, and but certain things like if you're trying to find nitrogen gas or aluminum or something like that, those things are far, far away. So you've run the train pretty far to get to those things.
Yeah.
You can carry gas back, you know, vapor, whatever, in the tank cars. Oh, by the way, here's the. It says there's a okay. The new slots in the head, back, and legs. New
slots
weapons,
in the head, back, and legs.
Right, and then you still get the 4 slots for your body, whatever like that. But you get the other ones as well. The Nobelisk, the thing you threw the bomb out the explosion down below or something, or there's a gas Nobelisk releases a cloud of toxic gas that deals damage over time. Cluster Nobelisk that detonates with multiple explosions over a larger area. Pulse Nobelisk generates a powerful shockwave. Nuke Nobelisk creates a massive explosion. On the rifle, there's a homing rifle ammo, corrects projectile trajectory to hit targets more easily. Turbo rifle ammo shoots a massive amount of bullets at accelerating pace. New rebars, a stun rebar, but it doesn't do any damage. It just stuns he just stops, freezes for a moment. Shatter rebar, highly effective on shorter range. Explosive rebar, yes, even more explosions. Added holster functionality for the currently equipped. Yeah, that if you're wearing your sword or something like that. But you don't want it to be out all the time. People were walking around building stuff with their sword in their hand, and they didn't want that, and I didn't want that. I wanted nothing in my hands. I want to just work. Now you just type the H key and it goes away. It puts it in your holster or something.
As you can see, I'm trying to minimize damage to town here.
And hit H again and it comes back out again. Whatever weapon you have selected. They also fixed the thing where you moved your mouse wheel around. It was random what weapon you would have. You might get the same weapon twice in a row. Not anymore. That's been fixed. The chainsaw audio has been changed. It looks a little different as well. There's a new area called Spire Coast. Spire, S-P-I-R-E. A full overhaul of landscapes and cliffs, complete foliage overhaul, new lighting and fog setup.
Spire Coast?
Spire Coast, yeah,
Spire.
a bunch of spires in the air. Dune Desert, cliff wall, and plateau, cleaned up the cliffs on the Spire Coast side, landscape and foliage overhaul on the plateau, the swamp, major overhaul of foliage, reworks to lighting and fog, minor landscape changes, added new music. Music's pretty cool.
You know,
I started listening to that.
I think a lot of devs make mistakes, but they don't give enough attention to the music in games. Like even right here on Transport Fever, I'm running 2 mods. One that gives me all the music from Transport Fever 1, and one that gives me all the campaign music. It turns, a 30-song playlist that repeats, too much into 140 songs. If you're playing these games for a long time, the music really can, because there's people who turn the music off in 2 seconds, which is kind of a shame.
The AI system navigation and spawning have been overhauled. Creatures now have separate visual and audio perception, and they won't hear you crouch. Creatures can now panic and run when certain conditions are met. New spitter looks, desert spitters, aquatic spitters, green and red forest spitters, crab hatchers. These things that it used to hit a, it looks like flowers or something like that, and these little things come flying at you or something. They call them crabs, but now as I said, now persist and spawns new baby crabs until destroyed. You got to kill the thing in the middle, or it'll keep on coming out.
Oh my God, that's ugly.
It can be, and baby crabs have more predictable behavior. Hog changes. Both hogs no longer circle around the player. Hogs now have a rear up animation before their standard charge. Stinger changes. The Stinger leap attack now hits more reliable.
Well, I mean, it's a long time coming for them to upgrade the creatures because, from the very first day that it came out, everybody knew you just had to do, a couple of very simple maneuvers.
Right. You put your shoes on, those running things, and you can beat out any creature. You can outmaneuver them and stuff. But now they're, like I said, this is more difficult. The AI's been changed, make them smarter. So and now the early creatures you find, those are nothing except the crabs. That's really changed. They will kill you and kill you and kill you like that. It is so hard. You have to get into that mother thing in the middle there and destroy it, and then it gives you something else now. Now that's kind of neat too. The MAM has changed a lot, where you grab these different corpse of the animals, and now you're making a lot different things with them. A lot new function to the game. Instead of just being a couple of things up top and that are gone, no, it goes down and down these big trees and stuff. I said, look at all this stuff. And anyway, I think that's actually how I unlocked the map. One of the things they gave me.
If I'm going to do this one, I just go through the valley here and eliminate both tunnels.
Oh, they changed all the man research to complete within 3 seconds. You
Was
don't
that
have to wait 5 minutes and all that stuff.
was that a problem people had?
Well, the reason why is that there's so many of them now. It's huge.
Yeah, but how many people are doing all the research?
I am. I do it every time, every game. I'm on my 34th game.
What have you been saving? You've been naming the game saves so that you know?
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
If you go to load, there's a whole bunch of games there. You know, and this one, I mean, last time it was just called U6. And then, but this time it was U6 modded. Because when I first played U6, I played it with just vanilla. And then I finished that, and then now I'm on another one. But this one, I had a couple of friends. One guy from Ukraine, another guy from Southern United States. But the guy in Southern United States took off. He didn't want to play. And the guy from Ukraine, I don't know. He hasn't shown up yet. We have a 7-hour time difference.
They're kind of busy in their country right now. I don't know.
Yeah, but he says he lives in the capital and he's safe. He's not having any problem. He's a student there. And you said, is there a list for all this stuff? Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot better. Since we can't double track through the tunnel. Okay, the people of Rockford are not happy with the town. Hey, the people of this town knew the railroad had the right of way before they moved in. It's just, I just destroyed half the town just to lay a freight train line. Talk about bringing real life to a video game. You people can't stay here. Why not? Because you don't own the property rights. Okay, streets.
You actually have to do the man in order to complete that game.
Well, again,
I mean,
we've had this conversation before. My thing is that if I'm starting up a game of Satisfactory, one of my first things is, what are we doing to ensure that, like when somebody says, I'll work the space elevator. It's like, great, you can go work the space elevator. But that means that you've got a building that's got input belts underneath it. And we're going to send you the belts. And you lay out the building and make it look cool.